I do want to start with offensive line things. We've got Cooper Beebe's old coach. We got Cooper Beebe. Where's he going to play? We're doing offensive line things.
Yeah. One thing I wrote about was just kind of a question that's not only been kind of, I think, talked about amongst the Cowboys, but externally. And it's the idea of, hey, Zach Martin's gone now, something we all prepared for. So what do you do now? Well, what are the chances you move Cooper Beebe back to guard? And I think that that's a very legitimate question moving forward, because Cooper Beebe was an All-American at Kansas State. That's something where he was very comfortable. They put him at center last year. Took a little bit of an adjustment. I think one thing, if you talk to Cooper, he said he had to learn a little bit about like the timing in terms of going up against NFL competition of, hey, I just snapped the ball. Now I got to get my punch up.
That job seems like it sucks.
That's hard.
The idea that you have to snap the ball and then do the job and everybody else just gets to do the job, I would not want to play center.
Not also adding to the fact that I have to remember the snap count, and I'm probably one of the guys that's saying, okay, let's point these things out, right? Like, he's the mic. All right, we're sliding this way. I got all these guys, like, and I'll let you finish, but sometimes people forget, like, just all that has to go through a player's mind.
Center sucks.
That you go from I have to remember, okay, what's the snap count again?
Mm-hmm.
Is he in shotgun? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I got to reach
and
block.
as soon as my hand moves, this 330-pounder is going to put his hands on my chest.
Yeah, like, hey, Dexter Lawrence.
That's what I'm saying. You look up, and there's Dexter Lawrence. You're like, golly. What a beatdown.
It's incredibly tough, and he was so successful at guard. And one thing to point out, like, Cooper Beebe had a pretty solid season at center. He was a top 15 center in terms of Pro Football Focus among qualified starters. Tyler Biadasz, had a better PFF grade than him. So in terms of, hey, let a guy walk, more expensive, draft a guy, develop him, Cooper Beebe kind of fits that mold. He only allowed, I think, 18 pressures in total all season. Not too bad. But there is questions about, hey, there's a big hole at right guard now with the Zach Martin gone. What is your best starting five, and could Cooper Beebe be there? One thing I kind of talked about in my story, basically, it could be contingent on the idea of what they do in free agency and the trades and then the draft. You know, hey, is there someone that you could draft at center that would allow you to move Cooper Beebe there? You know, or is there someone at guard that would allow you to solidify Cooper Beebe as a center moving forward? I think these are questions heading the offseason the Cowboys have to answer.
You know, I like the conversation, and I think this is the time to have that conversation. I don't want to play musical chairs in November, right? This is the time where we get a chance. A new coaching staff, Brian Schottenheimer and his staff come in. Conor Riley comes in with his staff, and now I have Clay.
Clayton Adams.
Clayton Adams. He's in. So I have all these new people coming in. So what does that mean? That there's a new philosophy that's going to come in with that. There's going to be new techniques that are going to come in with that. There's going to be new styles and trends and how they want to do it, whether that's finesse or zone or down blocking, or pin and pull. All those things come into play. And we talked about this on multiple occasions last year about, give me the best five. Who are the best five? Put the best five out there. Let's go play low football.
Mm-hmm.
These are the times where we figure out the best five. These are the times now. So if the conversation is, hey, we're moving BB to guard, then let's play with that now. Let's solidify that now, so that when we're done with drafting, we're done with OTAs and mini camps and all that kind of stuff, and guys get ready to go and take that little break before you go into training camp, we have a clear understanding and knowing. Because once I get into training camp, I can't do, barring any injuries. Now, injuries happen, you got to make adjustments. But I go into training camp, I think last year we spent a lot of time on the defensive side of the ball of kind of figuring out, with what's old man Zim's, figure out who's playing where, who's doing what. Is it going to be this person? You don't have time for that.
Yeah.
You don't have, now you have to get into training camp and have everything in place. Who's going to be my starters? Who's going to go out there and play? Where are they playing? Because I'm adding basically two new staffs to the mix. I got a whole new defensive staff and I got a whole new offensive staff. So all the learning that needs to be done, all the technical things that need to be done in April and May and June. Because when we get to August, you got to have things in place, especially in the trenches, because you got to be going full steam ahead. Because when that season starts, you're going to have, we already know who the opponents are. We just don't know when they're playing these guys. Mm-hmm. You're going to have one of the toughest schedules in the league.
Yeah.
So you don't have the luxury to take those first 3 or 4 games and lose a couple of them because you're trying to figure this thing out. And we've seen how that has happened in the past, and it's caught up with the Cowboys late in the year. You're like, damn. We're on the fringe of making the playoffs because we lost a game early in the year to Arizona.
Yeah.
Or damn, we're out of contention to do X, Y, and Z to have a bye or have this because we blew 2 games early in the year because we were still trying to figure it out. Like, so this conversation about the offensive lineman is one that I'm like, all right, let's have it, but let's move in a direction where we can get to July and August and be ready to go.
Am I wrong to say I would just let Cooper Beebe pick?
Yes.
Okay. Because I just look at who they have on their offensive line, and I would be like, all right, guys, welcome to camp. Tyler Smith, you're awesome. Where do you want to play?
No.
And he'd be like, I'm good at left guard. And I'd be like, all right. Beebe, you're next.
Yeah.
Where you want to go? We'll figure it out from there.
Yeah.
Like, I know, but I got in my right tackle. It's not great, but we can live with it. I have no idea what I'm going to do at left tackle. We'll try to figure it out. And I got a center and guard spot that's like, and I don't like, it's great. Versatility is great. It's great.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Sorta.
Yeah.
What's better is kicking everyone's ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Zach Martin was a college left tackle. Sure. We didn't have to ask questions.
Yeah.
He was going to be right there.
Yeah.
Tyler Smith is going to be right there.
Yeah.
If you think a guy's got the ability to be real kick ass, put him where it's going to be. Don't touch it. That's why I always hated when it was like, maybe we should move Tyler Smith to left tackle. And I'm like, how about you let him kick ass?
Yeah.
Like, we're going to have to figure this out. Well, you might have to trade. You might have to sign somebody. You might have to draft somebody. You might have to do something. But why don't you just leave him alone and let him go to the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Let's not mess it up. Like Cooper Beebe, if you think he's a better guard, put him in. Make him a guard.
And I think that there's a real legitimate shot he could be. I think that he might be more comfortable and more dominant and have a higher ceiling at right guard. But what do the Cowboys need? And I think it's going to be harder to find a legitimate center. Like, there are options. You can go on in.
I want him to go Raphael. How do you say his last name? Devers? Is it Devers?
Oh, Devers?
Devers?
Yeah, Devers. Yeah.
He's doing great. The Red Sox.
I'm not moving off third.
Check this out. Yeah, the Red Sox signed who? The old Astros.
Bregman.
guy.
Yeah.
Bregman,
Yeah.
who I guess is a better third baseman than Devers.
Well,
And
Raphael
just
Devers is like graded out like the worst third baseman like the last couple of
Well,
years.
he looks pretty hefty.
Look at you.
Looks pretty
Oh,
hefty.
you see that
Yeah,
little,
look at you.
see that little baseball in me?
Yeah.
Sorry.
You said
anyway-
versatility. What?
But anyway, even with this translator sitting there, and they were like asking him follow-ups because he hadn't said it before, and they were like, "You didn't mean that, right?" Like, if they ask you to play first base or DH, it's like, no, I play third.
Yeah.
I play. It's like, yeah, but they just brought in a guy who's better, and it's like, I play third.
I play
Cooper
third.
Beebe shows up to camp, and he's just like, "Look, I'm a guard."
Yeah.
And they're like, right, but we don't have. It's like, I play guard.
Yeah.
Remember Willie Calhoun?
Yeah.
Ranger fans. We
Shout-
traded for Willie Calhoun. We traded you Darvish. He was kind of a little short, hefty guy. And they're like, where do you play, defensively, corner, outfield? He's like, I play 3-hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm here to rake, baby. That's what I do. Yeah, I just like Cooper pick. Like, we don't have enough good players on that line for me to.
But what if Cooper said, all right, I play guard, but then like, yeah, you can play guard, but the center that we're putting in,
It's Hoffman, right? It's like it's between those two at the moment. And so just let Beebe play the one he's better at and make Hoffman figure it out.
And, well,
He
good.
played both too.
Yeah, and
They've
it's a
done
good
both.
point because they could
You're
have.
just power ranking them.
Yeah, and they could have done this last year. When Zach Martin got hurt, they could have said, you know what? Hey, Brock Hoffman, you were the backup center. Let's put you at center. All right, Cooper, it's time to go. But to your point earlier, it's harder to play that musical chairs game mid-season on the fly when you have a known quantity in Cooper Beebe at center.
Right.
And so I think that you knew that Hoffman could probably do his job at right guard, which he did. So I do think that this is the time to at least question that, examine that. And I do think it's fascinating when you start looking at the free agent market. There's a lot of guards out there.
A lot of guards.
A lot of guards.
So Beebe's going to be a center. So Beebe's going to be a
he
center.
can pass. But so I think, there are some center free agents too, but they're more on the older side. And, anytime you bring in a new center in, there might be, new communication things. I think it'd be easier to find a guard than a center. So if I'm being a GM here, I think I might just keep Cooper at center.
And everyone's kind of hinting to, and I don't know if this is realistic or not, but everyone keeps talking about, well, Clayton's coming from Arizona, and one of the guys that he had is Arizona, former New York Giant, former Arizona Cardinal.
UTEP minor.
UTEP minor.
Will Hernandez.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, maybe he can come in and play guard, and he looks the part, and he knows the system, and he gives that level of nasty, and now we have more stability at that. So I don't know if that's a realistic thing. I don't know if he will follow Clayton to Dallas and want to come here. I don't even know if he has any more. Is his skill set still good enough to come here
Right.
and be
Missed a few games last year.
To be better than what we have technically right now at right guard. So I don't know, but this is the time. Like this, the offseason is where you get a chance to play that game of let's see what you are, but you gotta come out of this thing sure. Like that's just my opinion. You have to come out of training. I'm sorry, you have to come out of the minicamp OTA season sure in what you have. There can't be any. Well, we're not quite sure yet. It has to be a definitive. Cooper, going forward, you're going to be our center, and if that's the case, you're going to be our center forever.
Yeah.
Like there is no forever.
Yeah, forever.
And you got to just go with that.
We got to get Duke Manyweather on.
We do.
I picture center being harder than guard because you have to snap the ball and a lot of times call all the things. But at the same time, I do know as a draft person, nerd, phony person who watches and likes strength players.
No, that's not true. Give yourself a little respect.
Like when there's a tackle whose arms aren't long enough or his feet aren't good enough, they're like, oh, move him to guard.
Yeah.
And if there's a guard who's a little bit small or they don't think he's quite strong enough, they're like, oh, move him to center. And they just keep pushing you towards the middle. And I'm like, center's hard as hell. Yeah. What are you doing?
We all silly like the mayor.